Good evening and welcome to Oromia Radio. Today is Wednesday, the 22nd of July, and the program is The Voice of the Oromo People. We bring you a summary of the last 3 weeks in Ethiopia, Part 1. On the 30th of June 2020, the famous singer Hachalu was assassinated near his home. This happened a few days after his critical comment about the Amhara supremacy movement, and in particular, Minilik, the former emperor of Ethiopia. The shooter is believed to be a woman who was a former military personnel who became a friend to Hachalu's wife. On the night of his death, she asked him to drive her home because it was late at night. He then proceeded to drive her home but was shot on the way. The bullet entered Hachalu from the right side where she is presumed to have sat. The woman in question has disappeared and has not been seen after that day. Furthermore, the crime scene was never investigated nor properly secured for investigation. This shows there was never any intention of solving the crime in the first place. Another very suspect situation occurred within hours of the assassination when governmental forces forcefully deported the assassinated body of Hachalu to his hometown for burial. An advocate of Oromo people's right is apparently not to be buried in Addis Ababa, also known as Finfinne by the native Oromo people. On the wake of those atrocities committed by the government, many Oromo youth have been viciously killed on the streets where they were protesting. The killing is believed to have surpassed 1,000 people, and the government also responded with disabling internet and electricity to further prevent people from communicating within the country as well as outside. In addition to the aforementioned events, Jawar and Baqala and many other Oromo rights activists were forcefully apprehended. They are still being illegally detained 3 weeks after. Also, Oromia Media Network was raided and looted within hours of the assassination. All these events occurred within 12 hours of Hachalu's killing, indicating that it all was planned attack to suppress key Oromo rights advocates. It is apparent that it was carefully plotted conspiracy to destroy the struggle of the Oromo people to gain freedom, which has lasted over 150 years. The struggle of the Oromo people has been to fight for the freedom of all the oppressed people in Ethiopia, to allow people to live in a democratic and humane country. One of the most critical moments of the Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's time in the office is when he ordered the building of the statue of Minilik II. Minilik II is responsible for mass killing and enslaving the Oromo people in millions. He could only be described as a warlord. This understandably is infuriating to the Oromo people, who finally thought the country was headed towards democracy and equality, but many say he chose to go back to the old ways where only one ethnic group was in power while the rest were suppressed. This has been Mahdi Muhammad Sani, and we thank you for listening to our program, The Voice of the Oromo People. We will return next week.